funky bass groove.
Welcome, audience members, to another episode of Conversations in Pencil, the Rough Draft. I'm one of your hosts, Nathan, and this is Tayla. Welcome, Tayla. Hello.
Hello.
Today's episode 7. We were discussing doing a little more on last episode, so if you had a chance to catch episode 6, we're doing a Relationships and Attachment Styles 2.0 from pattern to practice, because we didn't get a chance to cover everything we wanted to talk about last week. How are you feeling about delving into the subject? Once again, that last week we didn't really want to do either, Taylor. How are you going today?
Oh, I'm pretty good today because the weight on my shoulders is going to be lifted because Nathan's going to be sharing some stories today, not just me. So I can sort of just sit back and relax in this one. You're not delving into my deep, dark parts of myself.
The Sordid History of Taylor. The book will be out soon. If you want to know more, you can order a copy of Taylor's website, sordidhistories.com. That's not true. That's purely sarcastic. But today, Nathan's Sordid Histories, with a little censorship to protect those. What's the lady's name that we talk about online? It's me, Margaret.
Hey God, it's me, Margaret.
We shall
help me win in this Ludo game of life.
For those of you that don't know Ludo, I'm sorry for your sheltered rock living life. If you didn't grow up pre-device era, don't worry. Get on Facebook, look up Ludo under games. There's an option. You don't even have to roll dice. You can kind of swipe in a mind-numbing way with you and your friends and fight to the death.
There should be a trigger warning, though, on that people will get angry. And feisty and vicious and very competitive.
What makes you angry about Ludo, Taylor?
Nathan will cheat and use his even dice to get you just as you're about to win. So, look.
I recommend watching the ads. I recommend getting as many gems as possible. You will
I
need
recommend
them.
going in there knowing what you're in for.
The game on Facebook seems to choose. I'm not sure what it's based on. Race, gender, some sort of inequality. It seems to choose who it wishes to lose. It's not win. Who it wishes to lose in a game. I find this infuriating. I've quit many a game.
No, you haven't. You've not quit one game.
I've never quit one game.
No.
I like to quit. I like to fight to the end. Yeah, I'm a bit zombie like that.
Forced you to leave.
Yeah, sometimes it drops me out. That's what I allege. But to draw our focus back from our 5 minutes of distraction, the episode today, Relationships and Attachment Styles 2.0, from pattern to practice. This is Conversations in Pencil, where we get to make mistakes, redraw, try again, be in the messy middle. Check out our previous episodes if you're wondering about where we're at, who we are, and enjoy today's episode with Taylor and I. Last time we explained what attachment styles were and how they shape connection in relationships. And today we're getting a little more practical on how this knowledge, how being aware of this can be utilized, how we can take action on this and make changes in our life. You might remember we spoke about the anxious, avoidant, and secure attachment types, and how in helping us understand the differences between those attachment types, we can start to build so to speak, a translation program within each of us to understand what each of us means when we communicate in the subtext, in the actions, even in certain words, and we can help understand and have compassion for each other and our differences and form this translation program. We are encouraging our audience, as always, to go towards secure. What is secure to you, Tayla? Your experience in what you're aiming for specifically?
I think I'm aiming for just to be sort of grounded within myself. To sort of trust myself, learn to trust myself, learn to trust the decisions that I make, and know that those decisions, whether they're a mistake or not, are something that you should back 100% at all costs. Learning how to not let other people control you or make you feel a certain way because they've experienced different things in their life, and learning how to just really live your life, essentially. Live the life that you want to live by not letting other people interject or change the trajectory or like their traumas affect you, if that makes sense.
Okay. Which is interesting because as much as we do want people to affect us, there is going to be some negative results of that, which is part of connection. And not having connection feels like a very lonely, unfulfilled life, in my opinion. I think it's fundamental to fulfillment and happiness.
So,
yes.
having someone that you, instead of ignoring their, so what people call them, red flags, which I don't know if every single one is a red flag, but more of an indicator, as Nathan talks about. But it's not ignoring those that are presented by those people that you're trying to either have a friendship with, a relationship, or whatever. But it's being able to go, that doesn't align with my values, that doesn't align with who I am, and just being able to cut that person off a lot quicker than sort of delving into something really, really deep that could end up hurting you more dramatically in the long run. It's essentially weeding people out that are not on your vibration, which we've talked about in past episodes.
Yeah. It's interesting as you talk, I think of the patterns that I have and having a look at those as like a really good, as you all can hear, I live on a main road. I thought I'd pause and listen to that wonderful main road bike. With regards to the patterns within myself, it is incredibly subtle to see the ways in which our own belief systems or negative habits or imbalanced attachments, styles, in the way it influences everything in our life. It's quite amazing to see how much we create these situations that are not healthy or good for us.
You're being tested constantly.
Yeah.
Being
And
tested.
what's really interesting is when you make changes, you seem to get incredibly tested, as though that change wants to make sure you have changed. And all of a sudden it comes out of the woodwork and there's this moment of chaotic clashing and reorganizing, and people will fight you. Which is amazing that when you shift or change or grow, people often resist that growth and change in you. It's almost like the change wants to see how serious you are how seriously committed you are to being different than you used to be. Have you experienced this resistance yourself?
Oh, on a daily basis, Nathan.
Yeah.
Some little gnome's popping out of the garden and messing with my shit. This is my dirt. Keep digging. It's like, who do you think you are? Get out of my garden. Yeah, get feral little gnomes popping up all the time, trying to work out how to deal with them.
For some reason, I don't picture gnomes. I picture trolls, like the troll movie with the little singing trolls.
No, you
Just
would.
pop out.
No,
Start singing a song.
I'm picturing gnomes because we all talk about our gardens.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. I love this imagery. Please explain more.
No, I just picture little gnomes popping up out of the ground. Like, you will work, you son of a bitch. And you're like, no, I don't. No, let me just plant this flower. No, you must do this before you plant a flower. That's just where my brain went.
Wow. The little village gnomes. Like,
Yeah,
just
and they come in the
hunting
form
you
of
down.
narcissism, lying,
Narcissism.
cheating, nastiness. That's, instead of calling them the seven dwarfs, sleepy, nervous, and whatever, it's
Yes.
narcissism, nastiness, hurt feelings.
Yeah.
No one cares. That's the gnomes that pop out of my garden that hand me a shovel. Be like, you wee
Wow.
whippersnapper.
The testing garden gnomes. They will pop out every now and then in your garden, which you didn't allow in there. But
Yeah,
every
and you
now and then
can't
they're
kick him in the
just there.
face because there's rules and regulations.
Apparently, it is frowned upon to kick your testing gnomes in the face because they usually come in the form of actual real people.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to do that.
Society frowns upon this.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you want to go to prison, but...
Yeah, there are a lot of videos on YouTube. I am surprised more people aren't locked up. I think we're doing well. It's a bit of a high five moment to say we haven't kicked gnomes in the face.
Yeah,
I
but
think
this,
the
it
desired
hasn't stopped them from procreating.
Hasn't it? we. You may sense our dry sarcasm. This is the types of conversations you would enjoy if you were friends with us on, say, Fortnite. Yes, Fortnite. I said Fortnite. Try not to vomit in your own mouths. Look, if you become addicted to it, you'll understand. If you don't really play it, if you played it a few times, you won't understand. If you went through COVID and you had no one else to talk to and you got onto Fortnite, you truly would understand how life-saving a little bit of social on Fortnite is. We love to hate the game.
Steering away from that subject that also made me throw up in my mouth. Now that I've discussed the gnomes, how about Nathan? What's a real scenario or dynamic of that was maybe helped you become aware of these gnomes in your garden?
What's interesting is, I think I have realised that there's some of the gnomes that I form. I imagine myself to be this twisted little weird potter. Like Fight Club. I wake up in the morning and don't realise I've been up all night forming these little twisted gnomes myself. And they're almost like habits, or they were kind of unknowns in me. And I always call them patterns, but they're basically an operating procedure. You just run off a base operating system that looks at the world through certain lenses, that treats people through certain lenses, and it's not a terrible thing. Often you will seek people to look after and help. And there's this amazing saying that you keep saying recently that I've started saying in my head.
Yeah, boy.
And
At the dee-da-dee-da-do-do. Which one is it? There's like several.
the monkeys one.
Oh, yes. Not my
Yeah.
monkeys, not my circus.
Yeah. So part of one of these gnomes that I test myself with is me actually probably overstepping or searching for people that it's okay to overstep with and taking on their problems and making it sort of a mission to share my knowledge or assist and help. And I don't think that's a terrible thing, especially amongst friends and groups, and it's part of the interchange of energy and encouragement that you can give to each other. The concern comes when you start to sacrifice your own needs and your own health and utilize people as a distraction, their problems, and you, I guess, in a way, pedestal people. But it's more of a procrastination tool. We talk about the way people avoid certain things, and this level of procrastination is intricate. Procrastination. Procrastination. It's upper class procrastination.
We can't help it, our autism flows.
Welcome to autism. If you look to your left, you'll find Harry Potter Street. But
Guardian Leviosa.
if we start to notice in ourselves that we are not addressing certain things and we're replacing those requirements that we're responsible for with other people's, then we've identified something unhealthy within ourselves. And it's really odd because how I would describe it is I spent time in childhood not really feeling in my nervous system that I was safe and loved. And so I still search for that in adulthood. And part of how you can start to quantify that in an immature mind that you develop in childhood, you start to look at, if I can just do these things for people, they will actually see me as good and lovable and valuable. And they will treat me in that way, and then I can dare to believe and experience and feel and accept that myself.
But to hell with those people.
But but this is really difficult because it is everyone's responsibility. And they have to hold themselves accountable for this, to really take care of themselves for the others in their life as much as themselves. To pick up your own responsibility in this area, because no one really can do it but you. And this is the hardest part of what we have been discussing in this podcast. Taking on the full accountability of your responsibility to yourself. I hate it. I hate doing it. I don't want to do it. Sometimes I don't want to get out of bed. Sometimes I just want to curl into a ball. And sometimes I'm just super afraid. Yeah. And as a grown man, that's really, really complex to get to a point where you can go, oh yeah, no, I'm quite afraid often in my life. Because it's a wonderful realization then to go, I have an immense amount of courage for how many times I'm actually afraid in my life. To continue going, alright, that's alright. I'm afraid. I'll do it afraid. I'll take that responsibility and I'll consistently show up and do the work every single week. And I've been doing that for quite some time now. And I've been expanding my bubble of responsibility in my life.
Welcome.
And that's one of the tools
Tayla.
that I find really helpful. Say that again.
I said, welcome, Tayla.
Welcome, Tayla.
Have some responsibility that you never wanted.
That you never wanted. And this is the types of things that you hear all the time. People are saying, reparent yourself. This is how you do it. You're an adult now, and there's the little person still inside you that needs that still has immature thoughts and immature feelings, and they're immature because we kind of got stuck. And they need you to be the parent that you needed. They need you to take on that responsibility as an adult and look after you as if you're your own child. Because who better form to do that? Feels really scary. But doing stuff scary is okay. And I don't mean physically scary. That's a really good signal to go prevent physical harm. I mean the emotional fears that rise up, these things that are wounded, these areas that are sore. On the other side of that fear and that circle or bubble of stress, pain, wounds is everything that you desire. And it's almost the cost that you have to pay. So I guess the more I'm turning my attention towards it and staying with it, the more I'm making the decision to face these things and climb into them and feel them and let them flow through and finish and allow that to mature and affect me and make decisions from an adult point of view, the more I reparent myself, the less hard it is, the more relief I get, and the more options and choice I start to feel like I have. It is so worth it. I cannot recommend this enough. It's so worth trying the first little thing. And I really truly started little. So this is what I've been reflecting on recently. I talk on this podcast, I open up about things, but also know at the moment, like I am not sleeping very much at night. I am grieving something at the moment, and I'm sleeping a little bit each day during the day. I still have a bunch of anxiety, and I'm still just taking one little step each day at a time and seeing what I can do and seeing what I can get away with. And it's working.
Which is Nathan living in survival.
Yeah. And I keep utilizing the little tools that we talk about on our podcast. And they do work. They are working. And I'm giving myself a lot of grace. I'm not looking at it as, you are failing, you're not meeting the expectation. I'm looking at it as, if I was standing on the other side of this and someone was going through this, how would I treat them? And I'm being very kind, very loving, and very accepting of myself as I am right now. Not the ideal me, not the potential me as I am right now, standing in the mirror, looking at myself, truly accepting myself, truly giving myself the high five in the mirror. That level of kindness, so it takes a bunch of commitment, because that's going to bring up all the resistance. I say this so that you know that you're not alone. I'm experiencing these things too, and I am still on here creating this podcast with my best friend. So it is possible. The little bit you do today is enough. Welcome, everybody. What's it been like for you to look at things that you try and feeling this resistance of it not being enough, Tayla?
I'm not sure if it will ever be enough in my brain. I'm not quite sure how to rewire that section that seems to be damaged. So that's something I'm definitely working on at the moment. I think is what Nathan said, where he was saying he was trying to be grateful for being able to still get up, do something in the day, and then if he wanted to go back to bed, he could go back to bed, you know? So I think it's, I'm struggling to learn how to be grateful for the small things that I do. This past year, I've had an incredible amount of achievements, and I don't think I've stopped once to recognize them and be like, whoa, like, high five, Tayla, you know? Like, for me, it's like, it's not enough, you gotta keep going. But then it's also like, well, when will it ever be enough? Like, so it's something that I'm working on currently, and I'm not perfect, but I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is incredible step to realize as well with the attachments and relationships. The largest one is with yourself, isn't it? To start realizing how you treat yourself, how you look after yourself.
Which is that inner child stuff.
And the voices that you hear sometimes, like what's it like to have someone, because we often talk, and I'm quite honest with you when I notice something or notice how you are talking to yourself in a moment. What's it like when someone's like that actually all the time?
I want to punch you in the face sometimes. It's like, shut up. No, I will talk to myself how I want to talk to myself.
Yeah.
Nathan don't care. Nathan gonna be like, not on my watch. And then you have to sit in that terrible discomfort of realization that you've just said that about yourself, but you wouldn't say that about a friend or a family member, or God, I wouldn't even say it to a stranger. But here you are saying vile things about yourself and thinking that it's okay. So having someone pull you up on that, I guess, is confronting at first, but you start to become sort of accepting of it.
It's good to know, isn't it, just for people to say, this is going to be uncomfortable. We've talked about comfort before, and that not being a way to measure effectively what is good or needed for yourself. And that comfort is not always the way to go. In fact, discomfort is often a signifier for something very the opposite. And sitting in that discomfort, that's exactly how I'd explain it for myself as well. It is
What is
very
that?
uncomfortable.
What does that feel like in your body, though?
Uncomfortable for me, it goes on different levels. The worst uncomfortable, I have to go. I must get up and flee. That's the feeling in my body. It is how I would describe fear or intense excitement even. Same physiological sort of response that they talk about in neurology, and it's this super intense amount of energy that just gets pumped into your system that you just cannot sit still with. You have to get up and go. And when it's a scary thing, translated in your mind as something that is threatening or scary, it becomes, I need to run through any wall that's in my way to get out of here as soon as possible and to a safe place. And I live alone. So I spend a lot of time in a safe place, really. But even there's times when I'm alone where I'm confronting some of these things and I still have this urge to move and go and flee or distract myself in every way possible. And we're really good at distracting ourselves. It's problematic because the whole world is kind of built on selling distractions for us now. So the fight against that is very real. I recently was watching the video of the guy who was just sitting for 1 hour a day in silence with no devices and no music and no television, just sitting in the one chair, no window to look out of, no fish tank to look at, just zero input for his senses, just to sit with himself. And it was a struggle for him to start with, to just sit with him and have his own company. And that's how I would describe a lot of that feeling when it's super intense. Other times, discomfort is simply pain in the body in certain areas, and I switch off from that as well. I find that one of my coping mechanisms is to just exit into my probably mindscape, into my inner world, into my dreams and thoughts. I even just fantasize about certain things. Fantasize about having some dream job, having a certain amount of income and what you could do with your life and what your dream life would be like, without actually taking that energy and working on it or making that happen. You can get stuck in that pattern of never actually experiencing the results of going for those things, because part of the fears that you end up going through, part of this feeling of wanting to run away from this discomfort, is what if you fail, and what if you realize for certain that you will never actually ever get there in the first place. Which is why our episode on failure was so important. To say, great, this is what the purpose of failure is. This is how to translate it correctly. This is how you utilize that in your steps to get exactly where you want to go to reach those goals. So it's incredibly difficult now because there is so much more that's been added into my understanding of experiencing discomfort. Whereas before it was something to flee, now what I'm tending to do, especially emotionally, with the work that I'm doing every single week with my coach, is I am turning towards everything that is saying, oh, that's uncomfortable, deliberately. And going, oh, sweet, I'm going to focus on that. Why? Because it's the most uncomfortable thing that's crossed my mind. You can get in that habit, which is fascinating, and the beauty is on the other side of focusing on that, I start to feel incredible amounts of relief in doing our work. Now I do work with a coach who does tapping for me, so I use it for myself. I don't just apply a tapping for other people or work with clients for their things. I do it for myself too. And because the more effectively I work on my things with tapping, the more effectively I can assist other people and identify patterns and habits and belief systems and negative aspects within them that they wish to have power over, or choice, at least in their life, to make a different choice. So, complicated. I'm starting to, I guess what they say when they say, get used to discomfort. I really have taken that on board, and I really am going towards that consciously, to the point where I'm enjoying the list of things that come to me and think, oh yeah, this is something I really dislike. Great. That's something to add to my list to really focus on. Yeah.
Which is super encouraging. Just while you were talking, my mind sort of splayed off into a different direction. I started to think about the last episode and think about how we talked about avoidance. And I know it's different to what you were just talking about, but I feel it's important to mention that these types of attachment styles can still be loved and should still be loved. Just as we, as anxiously attached people, should also be loved as well. So I think it's just important to mention that when we're talking about the reasons why possibly Nathan is feeling the way that he's feeling, and the reasons why I'm feeling the way I feel at the moment when it comes to these patterns and behaviours that we have, that these types of attachment styles are very much lovable and very much do have the opportunity to change if they want to change. Just as we ourselves have the opportunity to change if we want to change. And I was just looking at our notes here and looking at how it says discuss what repair looks like. And I was just thinking about all the times Nathan and I tried to repair a lot of things, and how we were met with brick walls after brick walls after brick walls. And it's interesting to think about how Nathan wants to run when he's in a moment of panic or a moment of despair. This usually happens once we've actually tried to repair, because the other person hasn't met us halfway. And it's just really interesting how all these sorts of things that we're thinking in our brains are all sort of interlocking and moving within each other, that create these kind of scenarios or feelings or experiences or reactions that we have. So, yeah, how did you feel about that, Nathan? I know that was a bit off topic and a bit of a tangent, but that's just what I was thinking about while you were talking.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I feel like when we met too, our friendship had the options of building a secure friendship from the start too, because we were discussing each of our relationships and how we operate, how we worked in our relationships and attachment styles. And we were analysing a lot of this on the types of people each of us were and the habits that we had, and identifying things in ourselves. And it was a really helpful sounding board. And a lot of this helped create this secure friendship where we are quite certain where the lines are, how to repair, what the process is, and a lot of trust was built through practicing a lot of these things and making a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes that you'll make. Fantastic feedback to go, okay, yep, I see what I did there, and let's repair and let's change and adjust. A lot of our own perception and assumptions actually are on, I guess, in the mix when we think we're understanding somebody else, or when we think we're perceiving them correctly. It's very difficult to separate exactly what is facts and reality, because we just have our lenses that we see things through. We don't see the full picture. And this is where communication is just incredible. It's the conduit to fully understand everything from someone else's perspective, and we really all very much can improve no matter where we're at on our listening and understanding ability of others. I love this quote in the attached book. The Amir Levine one, which is that most people are only as needy as their unmet needs. And as I read that, I even thought, what a wonderful way to look at neediness in someone else. That it indicates how they were treated to you. That it says, oh, they have this need that has been unmet. They are not attacking me. They are coming to me and offering an opportunity for me to look at their neediness and say, oh, that signifies to me something that they need met that they haven't received, I can show love in this way and fulfill it. We can communicate and I can fully understand and find a way to fulfill that need in them to the point where they no longer are needy. Because often we look at people and think, in society, a common theme that I've seen, this wouldn't be everyone, but I've seen predominantly an attitude towards, well, needy is unattractive and needy is not okay and it's unacceptable and we dislike it. Rather than, oh, this is something that this person has been starving for too long. And it creates these sort of negative habits and patterns and attitudes or reactions even, the way someone conducts themselves. Imagine if you could, and it's not a requirement to do this to all people, but let's say you're in a relationship and you've committed yourself to this person. This is part of it, to look at where their needs are and how capable you are of fulfilling those needs and learning how to the point where they feel so secure in the relationship because those needs are prioritized, met, and achieved to the point where they no longer starve and they are not needy. You can create that in the person you're with. Like, what a beautiful way to look at neediness. It's a very different point of view.
Yeah, instead of being like, you're too much.
Right.
You're too much for me. I can't handle you. Oh, triggered.
Now, here's a really interesting
Triggered.
thing.
The amount of men that have told me that I'm too much. Get out of my garden.
In yourself can you fulfill so that your neediness is as little as possible in others? Can you become so secure with yourself, with the way you treat yourself?
No.
You can't do it?
No, I don't feel as if that's... I don't align with that, I don't think. I think you can come secure to a point and be like, yeah, okay, that's good, but we're always going to have needs that one can't on their own fulfill without somebody else in their life. So I don't know if that's a fair analysis to be like, can you just... That's like being independently alone. Because you've fulfilled all your own needs. Why would you need somebody else? But I just feel like there are parts of us that will always need that feeling, connection, love, understanding from somebody else rather than just relying on ourselves all the time.
So, okay, there's two trains of thought here. One is we have in us created by our caregivers at an early age unmet needs, things that we as adults have a responsibility to take over and look after for ourselves. Also, what you're saying is, as a result of these connections and having a need from another person in our life, we developed certain needs or neediness in certain areas that it stands to reason that somebody else in relationship to us can treat us differently and they will go away. So there is opportunity in both, and I do believe we need both. Because we're I don't want to say pack animals, but
Yeah, but I'm not saying it's not important to self-care, self-analyse and self-regulate, and be in tune with oneself in a secure manner. But I think it's more like you still need people.
yes. So,
Might have to
It
wrap it up
stands to
there,
reason
y'all.
there's no clear line. That there has to be, that every person is going to be different, every relationship is going to be different, and really in the end, I don't feel like we're limited. That's what I would like to strive for. I do not want to be limited so that I cannot fulfill the needs of the person I'm with. All my children.
Yeah, I just believe that being secure with yourself is limitless. I don't think there's a limit or a point that someone's going to get to. And, like, I'm not going to look at someone and be like, holy bejeebus, that person is fully, completely secure.
Because I do also think there's a bit of a wave to this. I don't think anyone's secure at all times. I love Brene Brown. If you ever search a social anything, videos, anything, just consume Brene Brown. Very balanced, interesting woman. She's done some TED Talks. She talks about the ability to create space or allow space or just simply be present. We talk about these terms a lot. Really, it's just this similar thing to sitting in the discomfort. It's like, yeah, I'm uncomfortable and I'm going to stay here and wait and not interject and not change course or do something unnecessary. I'm just going to be here with this person. Similar to you're with somebody who has just lost somebody, they're grieving, it's overwhelming and terrible. There's nothing you could say or do. And some people have beautiful words in those moments, but the feeling persists. There's pain and grief, someone is lost. That doesn't go away. But being there and just being in that discomfort with the person you love has so much value to support their nervous system. I think of it of shared pain or shared load. You're helping them carry. You're sharing a calmer nervous system to soothe theirs. It is simply being present in those moments and not leaving. It's allowing presence and offering presence to each other. And if you can sit in that uncomfortable situation for each other, no matter how vulnerable each of you are, without having to try and fix a person or change the way they feel, what's fascinating is it will have that effect anyway. The person will feel loved, they will feel secure, they will feel wanted, they will be okay because they're not alone and someone can carry the load and they've been accepted and they just need to not be pushed aside in their most needy moments. It feels the need that we have as social people. So, how important then that we actually look at how we are attached to ourselves and each other and find ways to make that healthy for ourselves and each other. Perhaps there's some ways that you are thinking of at the moment in our audience. What's something that has worked for you, Tayla, that has made you feel soothed, less alone?
Probably you. Yeah, you've taught me quite a lot over the past however long I've known you, which has been immensely helpful and worldly, I guess, to open up different ideologies and thought patterns and understandings. So I'd say, yeah, probably our friendship. What about you?
And I think the same thing is those moments where it's not that I need someone to say the perfect thing, is that sometimes I need someone to endure my heavy moments and kind of put up with me a little bit, because I feel valued when someone does that, because I have terrible moments too, and sometimes it's painful. I'd be painful to be around. I recognize that. And just having someone stay until it gets better, it just happens quicker. You do not feel rejected. You feel valuable. You feel safe to actually express all of the experiences and emotions that you go through. So safety to do that that's a big one. I think this is how I select friends now. And maybe part of doing that is I act in that way to my friends also, so that they know, so that either they dislike it and leave, or they know they are able to do that with me as well. They're able to be open and vulnerable, and I will
Yeah.
listen and hear.
You're a gnome that got to stay.
Yes, right. The tester that got to stay, because sometimes he's not a gnome, he's also in there helping plant things.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite good, isn't it? How interesting. The value of the gnomes. There's a whole series in my mind now that I'm creating for gnomes. Okay. So, perhaps this week, our audience members can try something for themselves in their lives. The things that we talk about. Try a little experiment. Maybe without apologizing, maybe you need to practice. Maybe you need to write it down and send it to somebody. Maybe you can express to somebody in your life
Or
one
to
of
us.
your needs. Or to us. Yes. I would love to start that conversation actually. You can feel a little bit anonymous and share one of your needs and see who else has a similar need. See what others say about your needs. Perhaps practice on us. Perhaps you can take a moment, if you're feeling stressed, to breathe. Just truly sit there and take deep breaths. Start with 3. Try 10, try 2 minutes if you're up to that stage. Have a look at a breathing video on YouTube if you're at that stage and follow along. Just whatever the first little step is. Before you reply, before you send that text back, before the emotions pour into your life, take the time, take the moment, sit in that discomfort for a minute. Look after yourself as I regulate my nervous system first and foremost before all else, because in doing that, it changes my entire life. It changes how I enter, it changes how I speak, it changes how people see me and feel me. And you are worth it. You are worth that time in between. Perhaps you have somebody who's expressing a need to you, and you can listen and hear that and not resist it. Maybe these are some of the things you can do. That brings our episode to the tapping part. The final part that we're going to get you to tap along with. I've realized there is so much to say in these relationship episodes, and we could talk more, and we may talk more. Let us know in the comments if you'd like more on these relationships episodes, on these attachment episodes. We're going to do our tapping now, though, if you want to follow along. If you want to look at the tapping points, I'm still getting together a video. It will happen. I'm not rushing myself at the moment. I'm letting myself grieve and sleep as much as possible. So I'm going to make a video that shows you the tapping points. Have a look for that on the socials, on the Unarmored Man. The Unarmored Man on my socials. I post videos when I can on attachment styles and relationship tapping scripts that you can follow along. Have a look, follow along on the points, and I'll get Tayla to follow along with me now as we finish off our episode with our final tapping practice. Let's see what it does for you guys. Be in this moment. Let any discomfort rise and just tap along as you repeat after me, and follow along with Tayla as Tayla does what you guys do. So we tap on that karate chop and we'll say, even though I sometimes feel vulnerable, reactive, or disconnected.
I sometimes feel vulnerable, reactive, or disconnected.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Even though I sometimes feel vulnerable, reactive, or disconnected. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I sometimes feel vulnerable, reactive, or disconnected.
I feel vulnerable, reactive, or disconnected.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself. On top of the head, this uncomfortable feeling. This vulnerable feeling. This reactive feeling. This disconnected feeling. I try to protect myself. I try to treat people well. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it hurts. I don't like this uncomfortable feeling. I don't like being vulnerable. I don't like feeling disconnected. I don't like being upset or reactive. Yawns are good, my people. I don't like this feeling. I choose a different way. I choose to be vulnerable. I choose not to overreact. I choose connection. I have the choice. And I choose it. A deep breath. If you have some water, guys, take a drink. If you'd like to go back over again, listen to it again. If you'd like something more specific to you, something deeper, something that's rising up, a memory or a thought, a belief system that's coming to the surface, something that you would like to get some relief with, and you can comment below. We do stay in tune with our socials and our media platforms, or contact me on the Unarmored Man, and I'll be here to have a look at what you need or create a script for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Tayla. It's been a wonderful episode. I've enjoyed this thoroughly.
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, been good.
So, until next time, just remember,
rub it out. Kick the gnomes in the face.
Kick the gnomes in the face and rub out what you don't like and do it again. That's a really nice short way of saying it. I like this very much. So, we shall catch you on the next episode. Let us know if you would like us to do some more on the relationships and attachments. And until next time, have a wonderful week. Keep on tapping. Keep rubbing out and redrawing. It's been wonderful. Thank you, Tayla.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Sliding, playful and quirky. Brass punches, sharp and perky. Baseline dances, feeling